Is it back on, guys? Let me know. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this thing. You guys let me know if it's back on here. I can't tell yet. So is it playing back from the beginning? Ay ay ay. All right, so we're back to normal. Everything's fine. Good Lord. All right, guys. I don't know what's up, man. My whole internet went down. It's like it doesn't go down all day long. And the last two times we did the live feed, it's like my internet just freezes up. So it was definitely my side. I apologize, but not only YouTube, I checked other websites. I couldn't get to any website for about 90 seconds. It's live, but playing in reverse. Are you kidding? Playing in reverse, like I'm talking backwards? The troll. Damn troll got me. It might be. Maybe somebody's dropping some little hacking bombs in my channel. Jay, you're scaring the shit out of me with this troll. I feel like my YouTube channel just got taken over. I've been hacked. All right, so I don't know what I was talking about. I broke a sweat. That made me so aggravated just now, guys. Todd would be a good choice. If I had to give it up for anybody, I'd give it up for Todd. I mean, my YouTube channel. I would. Sounds a little weird there on the way I said that, but I'd give up my YouTube channel for Todd. So I just missed the voting deadline. All right, so what I was saying, guys, is holding these attorneys accountable and keeping them on their toes is your job because it's your life. Just like my attorney. That's what I was telling you guys about. I was telling you guys about my attorney that I have helping me with child support. Same situation. You know, I'm waiting for them to send me paperwork. They tell me they're going to call me. They tell me they're going to send me paperwork over, and then they don't send it. And the old me would have been like, "Hey, I didn't get the paperwork." Da 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 da. So now I send like long emails letting them know that, hey, I know what time it is. I know that, you guys get overbeared with work and you tend to, put things off because most people don't know any better. I went into this whole email and just laid it out and said, look, I expect communication. My expectations of you are if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. If you can't email me what you're supposed to email me, I expect an email saying, hey, for whatever reason, we can't do it. Because without communication, guys, you just fucking land anywhere and you don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, I had a whole thing I was going and then the internet went down and pissed me off. So we're 3 minutes in. So now there's going to be 2 videos, I think. This is retarded. There's going to be 2 videos because I see this video is only 3 minutes long. So there's going to be another video that's going to end abruptly, and then it's going to go into this video. Jeez Louise. Can I say that? Is that vulgar? It gave it a virus. Well, we lost the troll, or the troll's embedded now into my code. The troll's probably somewhere here in my screen. Who knows? So guys, think twice about your choices and your actions. If you're getting ready to, deal with these, if you've got a situation coming up where you're going to possibly be taking an indictment, or you're going to be getting indicted, you're going to be accepting a plea, you think you might be going into this. If you're not taking it serious and you're not looking at your letters and you don't know what needs to go into your letters and you're writing just some half-assed letter that's not really taking full responsibility, blaming others, asking the judge to give you probation or begging for probation. If your letters are anywhere like that and you're not sure, send your letters over to me at rdapdan@gmail.com and let me take a look at them so I can give you some honest feedback. It has nothing to do with trying to get you to hire me. It has to do with making sure that you're in the right direction and you have the best possible opportunity to have the lowest possible sentence, serving it in the best possible environment. Those are the things that we work on here at Federal Prison Time with RDAPdan. So Todd is rolling out in about, what time do you got to surrender, Todd? It says it's at the beginning. I think some people are on the wrong video, so I don't know. Such a pain. Dan, can we see Prison Dan next time? Who's Prison? Oh, the picture you mean of Prison Dan? Where's Prison Dan at? Is he around here anywhere? Let's see if we got him. I mean, he might be here. Prison pic. Oh, there's Prison Dan. Woo! Here he is. We're going to go sit him on top of this subscribe button. Prison Dan, there you go. See that? See that, John? You ask, and like that, I make shit happen. Prison Dan. That's life size. We should put Prison Dan on a t-shirt. We should start selling t-shirts. Forget about hiring me as a prison consultant. Just buy Prison Dan t-shirts. I don't remember what was in that. Actually, I do. In the manila envelope, that was my birth certificate, my ID, all the papers that I brought with me, information, like all my personal information with all my friends and family's name on it. But are y'all seeing my text? Incognito. What are you writing? Incognito. 9 a.m. Friday. All right, so less than 48 hours before you have your camp out. Todd's on a camping trip. Serious technical difficulties. No shit. I need a crew to make sure this doesn't happen. I need like 2 internets, a couple computers. In our office, we had Comcast and whatever the other local shitty internet was, just in case the internet went down, we could flip a switch and still have internet. Because man, what a pain in the ass. I haven't heard any more horror stories of people getting redesignated at the last second, but I don't know about you guys. If you watch, watching the news and stuff, they're talking about getting heavy again on minimum mandatories and harsher sentences. And I don't even think they're doing it because they really give a fuck. I think they're doing it just to be Republicans and just to fight what the Democrats were doing. So that's definitely kind of scary listening to that, on giving these harsh sentences to non-violent drug offenders, raising the minimum mandatories. It's just, man, I hope it doesn't affect any of you guys. I hope you get in before any of that stuff kicks in and doesn't affect anything. But who knows, man? This right now, shit's in a crazy, crazy, crazy uproar. I was one of the people that wanted Trump in, even though I couldn't vote because, I've got no rights to vote because I'm a felon, fucking felon, can't vote. However, I'm second guessing now, is this guy the right choice? Because he doesn't really seem to listen to anybody on his team. Now, I get it. He's going to make all these crazy decisions and, we need somebody that, but at the same time, he's got this enormous staff to advise him for a reason, to make sure. It doesn't seem like he's taking a lot of advisement, just kind of doing what he wants to do. Is Abe back in the room? Where's Abe? Kim's talking to him, but I don't see him. Kim, where do you see Abe at? I see you trying to talk to him. If sentenced to 12 months, halfway house near Los Angeles, California. One of your most recent videos, you stated that there are only 2 locations in California. However, website, yeah, but you get the website you're looking at. Those halfway houses aren't necessarily federal halfway houses. There's other halfway houses as well, like sobriety houses, but they're not the federal release halfway houses. There's only 2 in that area that are actually that you can be released to for federal transition, getting back into society halfway houses. I saw that as well when I was doing some research for Hunter Moore before he got out, and actually started making phone calls and Yeah. So real quick, I can't help but to talk to Kim for a second. Kim, we love you, but you've got a serious problem with allowing people to get under your skin, like to the point where like you're looking to fight with him. I don't even think Abe's been in the room since we've come back on, and you're still sitting here looking to piss him off. Now, I guarantee you, if Abe came in the room and started talking shit specifically to you, started calling you names, started being dirty, you would get mad and take your ball and go home like you did last time. You'd say, I can't take this. I'm getting off of here. And you would disappear. And you would send me a text message saying, Dan, I hope you have a great show, but I can't be on here. So you got to think about that for a second, Kim. What causes you to do that? Because this fucking Abe guy or any other troll that comes into the room, they're here to, try to get a rise out of you. And if you give it to them, they're getting what they want. Now, you can have fun with it if you want and joke around and be entertained by it, but you can't have both. You can't sit there and throw stones back at them. And then when the guy starts calling you names, because we all know, if you're the only female in the room or one of the only females in the room, you feel like shit, don't you, Kim? But I love you, Kim, and that's why we got to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And I feel like that's what you need to hear. So if you're going to poke the dragon, get ready to get lit up. And when you do, you can't get mad about it. So if Abe, the troll, comes back in and starts talking shit to you, you better not run and hide. You better stand there and hold your fucking ground, Kim, because we're not going to have that. Oh, man, I forgot that Prison Dan was still up here with us. Well, I guess we'll leave Prison Dan because we're not going to be up here too much longer. Prison Dan. Man, that was a different person. I was heavier. My mind was fucked up. Man, I do not miss those days where my mind frame was. People keep commenting on my arm. Hey, you got some fresh track marks there, junkie. Which I think is comical. And I don't know if people really think that or not. But I guess when they're like, oh, he went to prison because he worked at a pain clinic dealing with pain, narcotic, and pills, maybe I could see where you'd come up to the conclusion that these must be track marks. This is a scar from a torn bicep. My bicep, this part of my bicep, detached from the tendon and shot up to my arm, and my tendon went that way. Well, if I would have got surgery right away, like literally in a couple of days or a week or whatever, they would have put a little tiny incision. They would have reached in, grabbed the tendon, stretched it back out, pulled the bicep back down, pinned it together, and everything would have been hunky-dory. But I waited over a year to get it dealt with right before I went into prison. And when I went to the doctor to have it checked out, when they did like ultrasounds and stuff on my arm, they told me that the tendon was gone. Like this tendon that detached over here deteriorated. It was gone. So they actually had to take a tendon from a cadaver, a dead person, from his Achilles heel, and they had to insert it into my arm, which required a much bigger incision. And then they had to put an incision over here. It was a nasty surgery. It was a nasty recovery. I've actually got pictures of all of that. Like the befores and afters. So maybe one day we'll do a little trip down RDAP Dan's lane and have some fun with that. Maybe we'll save that for Joe's channel. But anyway, it's not track marks, guys. I've never shot heroin. I've never done any hardcore drugs. I smoked marijuana and drank. Marijuana was my drug of choice, which allowed me to enter into RDAP, and I enjoyed drinking a little bit here and there, but no longer. I no longer partake in the green stuff. Don't need it. I get high on these videos. I get high talking to you guys. So yeah. Hey, before it gets too late, everyone be sure to like this video. Fucking A, John. We need John to be one of the admins to remind people left and right. If you guys haven't already liked the video, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, and you haven't already texted the word YouTube to phone number 35074, you are not a true fan. Fakes. You're fakey. Incognito just did. Awesome. Yeah, guys, like it, share it, spread the word, subscribe, all that good stuff. The video's long enough. We're 14 minutes in, and I don't know how long the other one was in, so I'm going to go here. I can tell you right now. Oh, we're right about an hour, so that's perfect. Sucks that the videos got broken up into two, but it is what it is. If you are self-employed and have a home-based office, will the halfway house allow you home visits for work purposes? Will they allow traveling to visit to clients? You know, I hate not being able to give direct answers because it sounds like I'm trying to dodge the question. I'm not. It depends so much on the halfway house itself. The halfway house can decide yes, but it's based on factors like, is it a legit job? Are they taking out, how are you getting paid? 1099? Are you getting paid salary? Are you getting paid hourly? If they can't gauge how you get paid and how much you make, then probably not, because they take 25%. So they know if you're paying yourself, you're going to dumb that down to pay them less money. So there's a lot of obstacles to overcome to make that happen. Can it be done? Yes. Is it easy to get done? Absolutely not. Will it happen right away? No. You know, they're going to have to get to know you a little bit. They're going to have to see your personality. You got to remember, there's a lot of idiots that get into the halfway house that spend 99% of their time trying to get over on the system one way or another. So they just automatically assume everybody's going to be like that until they see you're not. So it takes some time to prove yourself, earn your stripes, rank up there. I went from not being able to do anything I wanted to do to being able to do pretty much everything I wanted to do. Have my own office, do my YouTube channel. I mean, you name it. By the end, I was doing it, but it took time. And remember, I had 11 months halfway house. So for those of you that only have 3 or 4 months, 5 months halfway house, you may not be there long enough to get to the end, so to speak. Does that answer your question, Micah? Micah Rodriguez with the picture of a German Shepherd, I think. It looks like a German Shepherd, and I like German Shepherds. Who's not afraid of Linda Blair? Linda Blair. Is the video behind? It probably is. It probably is behind on everybody. Yes, there is a cap on the 25%. No, there's not. It depends where you go, Micah. Most halfway houses do not have caps on that 25%. Halfway house I was at, there was no cap on the 25%. Oh, you're asking, is there a cap? There's not, and that's what's fucked up about it. Now, the halfway house in South Florida has a cap. It's 25%, or I forgot what it was. I think the most they could take from you in a week would be $300. Anything above $300 they wouldn't take. But like where I was at in Washington, no cap, man. If you made 10 grand a week, they were taking 25% of it. So that's up to the halfway houses. That's the privatization portion of it. 11 months. Evan, do you mean like how did I endure 11 months or how did I get 11 months? I'm not sure of the question there. No shrooms. She's tripping. Gotcha. You're not tripping on shrooms though. You're just tripping because you're behind. So if you guys notice, the glare is not so glary tonight on my face. I actually went to Sephora. Most of you guys are like, well, what the fuck is Sephora? Sephora is a women's makeup store. And I went to Sephora and I went to this pretty little blonde lady and I said, hey, I need makeup for my face to make me not glare when I'm on the camera. And she's looking at me like, what? It's like, yeah, it's a long story, YouTube channel, bright lights on my face. I don't know what kind of cream I got, John, but I've got some makeup and I've got some powder to go over it. So it's like, yeah, I put my makeup on now. Me and Shelly put makeup on together. How fun is that? How did I get 11 months? Okay, Evan. So how did I get 11 months? Well, okay, so I did RDAP, right? So I got a year off first off, my sentence was 42 months. That's how long I was sentenced to by the judge. After my good time, which was 6 months, roughly about 6 months of good time, then I also got 12 months off for RDAP because I successfully completed RDAP. Once you complete RDAP, you automatically get 6 months. Well, I hired a lady who also now happens to work with us. I hired a lady to help me get the additional halfway house time, and she fought and went to what's called a CMC, case manager coordinator, who oversees the case managers at the prison, because they originally only wanted to give me 6 months. So I went and appealed it to why I should get the additional time. And they went through everything I did on pretrial. They went through all the programming I did while I was in prison. And there was a lot of tracking, a lot of stuff going on during this time where she was getting stuff from me to submit to her that she submitted to the case manager coordinator. And boom, came back approved, man. And they would have given me 12 months, but I only needed 11 months. So when I finished RDAP, that immediately sent me to the halfway house, where I spent my last 11 months in the BOP at the federal halfway house. And then I spent 4.5 months of that 11 months on home confinement. Corn silk. Yeah, I don't know what I got, Kim. I got some stuff, I got some makeup and some powder that it's supposed to be made for this. It's not called corn silk, but it's probably got the same idea. Hey, Dan, did time pass faster in the halfway house or in prison? At first, prison. Once I got my routine down in the halfway house, so when I first got to the halfway house, it was frustrating as hell because a lot of the jobs that I am accustomed to, I wasn't allowed to do. Like I wasn't allowed to do any type of job that was commission only. And most of my life has been commission-driven type jobs, call center world. Either I've worked in call centers, I've owned call centers, so it's always been in that type of industry. So I was like, oh my God, I can't. What am I going to do? I'm here in Washington State where I don't know anybody, and I'm not real good at swinging a hammer or construction. I've never done that before. Not to say I couldn't do it. Good night, Kim. So I was like, all right. So a friend of mine had a business in Florida. It's called Fit Food Fresh. Any of you that live in South Florida, check it out, fitfoodfresh.com. Amazing food. He had a company called Fit Food Fresh, and he's also my best friend. He actually just called me. He was willing to go open an office for me in downtown Spokane, Washington, for me to go work out of this office for him in Florida, doing like sales, administrative work, stuff like that, an hourly job, because that's what the halfway house wanted. But the halfway house said no, because there was no immediate on-site supervisor, and I wasn't allowed to work at a job without a supervisor. So that got denied. So I fought that for about a month, and finally was able to get it overturned and get it approved. They put me on a GPS ankle monitor just to make sure I was really at work. But once I got into that routine, I would go to work at 7:30 in the morning. I didn't get out of work until 9 o'clock every night. So from 7:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, I was at my own office, in front of my own computers, working till 3 p.m. And then from 3 to 9, it was my own time. That's where most of my YouTube videos came from in the early days. If you go back to my early YouTube channel, all of those videos were done while I was in the halfway house, not literally in the halfway house, but while I lived in the halfway house while I was at work. So that made my time fly. And then when Friday came around, I would only work till 3 on Friday because I would go home for weekend passes. I'd go home from Friday to Sunday night. So I bust my ass at the job I liked. I was never at the halfway house. I pretty much just slept there. So once I got into that routine, dude, it flew by. And during the middle of my day, they'd allow me to go to the gym for about 2 hours. So I was going to the YMCA every single day for 2 hours. In the middle, that's where I would go spend like my lunch break and stuff, go to the gym, hit the hot tub, all that good stuff. So if you guys are willing to put in time and effort and make something out of your halfway house experience, it doesn't have to be shitty. Oh, God. Good night, Kim. Go get worked up. Have a glass of wine and relax. Can't allow all these goofballs out here to piss us off. So yeah, in a lot of ways you have more freedom in prison because inside the compound you pretty much do whatever you want with really not a whole lot of supervision. In the halfway house, you have more freedom because you can go, but you are watched like a hawk. Every move you make is being monitored. At halfway house, can you take your own laptop and have unlimited or unrestricted internet access? No. Some halfway houses are just now finally allowing smartphones. And I'm glad. That was a good question, Micah. When I got to the halfway house, these are the only type of phones you're allowed to have. And internet was not allowed to be activated. This was it. This was your technology in the halfway house. Now, the halfway house that I was at, right as I was leaving, they finally approved smartphones. So you could go get a smartphone if you wanted. But definitely no laptops in the halfway house. I'm not going to say there aren't halfway houses out there that don't allow it. But most, and I have a lot of clients right now that have already been released from prison that are in several halfway houses, and they all told me the same thing. I would say 90% of them still are not allowing smartphones. And a lot of that reason has to do with they definitely don't want people taking pictures and posting stuff from in the halfway house, people's privacy. Then you've got sex offenders that might be in the halfway house that aren't allowed to have access to internet, things like that. So instead of like micromanaging people, they just say no across the board. You can't have it. Frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I'm okay. No issues here. What are we talking about? But those are good questions, Micah, because those are all questions. Couldn't believe it when I got to the halfway house and I was like, you can't have a cell phone? I mean, you can't have a smartphone? I mean, the world runs on smartphones. Everything you need to do. And then, people would sneak them in and use them. And if you got caught with it, they would take it. So nobody ever bought anything expensive. They'd buy those, those shitty smartphones that are like $50, $60. But even those, if you could go on the internet, something. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it, my man. Corey's our dude that's not looking at federal prison time, right? If I remember correctly, no prison time. You're just interested in the topics, which is always welcome. Kimberly, stop blaming it on your PMS. Quit playing the victim. Quit blaming everything else. Just messing with you. We'll get you there, Kimberly. Don't worry. We will get you there. So I'm growing my hair out. What do you guys... You like the short hair? You like the long hair? This is my my summer look. Do they ever have lockdown, shakedown? Oh, yeah. They have lockdowns in the halfway house. Like if the U.S. Marshals are coming to get somebody, they lock down the whole halfway house. Nobody comes or goes. Can't go to work. Can't leave for a pass. You got to wait until after that's all. Oh, geez. It says we're offline. Oh, now we're back online. I don't get it. Internet's up and down, up and down. I know you're ready to get in and get your time off. But yeah, they do have lockdowns, John, in case the internet was going in and out over here again. They do have lockdowns. They have fire drills in the middle of the night. A fire alarm will go off and you got to run outside, whether it's depending where you live, freezing, hot, whatever it is. It's meant to keep you on your toes, man. It's one more hurdle that you got to get over before you get to go back to home. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be a walk in the park. You see me. Good. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it. I've lost my momentum and I've lost my oomph, lost my will to move forward. Todd, I will reach out to you probably tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit. Maybe we'll find time to do a little 5-10 minute video. We'll see how you feel. If sentenced to 12 months, what is the max home detention? Is still 10%, meaning only, is there other possibility to be released earlier? If you're sentenced to 12 months, you'll be lucky to, is that federal time, Micah? 12 months federal time? Was it a year and a day or is it just flat 12 months? Because if it's just flat 12 months, you might not get any good time at all. And I'm waiting for Micah to answer that question there. Todd, you gone? All right, I got to put Prison Dan back in his box. All right, Prison Dan. Get in there. Yeah, don't forget, guys. Don't only subscribe, but you should see up by the subscribe button. You should see a little bell. If you click that little bell, it will automatically notify you when any new videos come out or when I go live. What'd you say, Micah? Year and a day federal. So you'll probably end up getting somewhere around maybe 2 to 3 months halfway housed. You can get more, but you're definitely going to have to go through the CMC, the case manager coordinator, through the same process I did to try if you want to get closer to like 6 or 7 months and only serve like, between 4 and 6 months in prison. And if you text me, we can talk about that and see if that's an option for you or not. But without that, if you just kind of like let things ride, they're likely going to give you 2 months halfway house-ish, and then you'll probably serve a month of that at home. So, it's not going to be the end of the world, though. 12 months is going to fly by. So if you do want some help with that, let me know. Shoot me a text or email me, and we can discuss your options. All right, everybody. I'm RDAPdan of Federal Prison Time. I hope you guys subscribe.